in here. So we'll get started in just a second. I want to apologize in advance if you hear some background noise around me. There's some construction going on outside my office here, so I'll try to be loud enough so that I kind of drown out the background noise in case you do hear it over the microphone here. All right, okay, looks like everyone's got audio and can see my screen, or can see the training screen. I'll go ahead and share my desktop out. Okay. So thanks for joining me. Today we have a really interesting topic. I really hope you enjoy it. Today we'll be talking about electronic signatures in InfoPath. The title of the webinar is talking about electronic signatures and InfoPath workflow approvals. But really you could use electronic signatures in many different scenarios. But we will be talking about it in the sort of the context of workflow approvals. So just wanted to start off with talking about signatures in general. Typically in a traditional workplace, we have signatures and you go and sign documents. And in an online version, we have a little bit of a different scenario. We do have signatures, but in the online world, we have a little bit of a different kind of fingerprint, or a different way we go and sign documents. The two that I'm going to be talking about, the two different types of signatures, are digital and electronic. So what are the differences? First off, digital signatures are probably a more stronger version of electronic signatures. Digital signatures are based on a cryptographic sort of concept. It's very secure in that way. And we do this because it ensures authenticity, it ensures integrity, and non-repudiation. The good thing about digital signatures is that cannot be duplicated. You cannot modify them after you've actually signed them, and they cannot be tampered with. And that lends itself to making sure that it's very difficult to hack and very difficult to go and forge. And the great thing about digital signatures as well is you're able to use these signatures through many, many different applications, many different technologies. The reusability factor is very, very big here. So definitely one reason to use digital signatures. Electronic signatures, on the other hand, you could say that digital signatures are a subtype of electronic signatures. Electronic signatures are basically the entire group of signatures online, and there's many different types within electronic signatures. But in general, electronic signatures, they can be proprietary based on the application. With digital signatures, you have a lot of consistency depending on which digital signature type you use, whereas with electronic signatures, it can vary from application to application. So that's something that can be an advantage. It could also be a disadvantage depending on your particular scenario. You can use many different types of medium in terms of your signature itself. You could use a voice print as your signature. You can use a written signature. You could use a symbol. You could use a picture, or there could be many, many different things, a fingerprint. So it really depends on your particular application, on what type of signature you want to use. They're not as secure as digital signatures, definitely more susceptible to forgery, and simply because electronic signatures are a lot easier to implement. They're not as involved. They don't necessarily require cryptographic functions, ensuring security and so forth. But we just want to make sure that folks can go and sign documents appropriately in the workflow process, and try to facilitate that as much as possible. And finally, electronic signatures aren't legally binding. For example, you sign a document, you can't take and you want to go and take them to court based on the fact that they signed this particular document using an electronic signature. A lot more difficult to hold up in court with an electronic signature as opposed to a digital signature, where you can ensure that a digital signature cannot be tampered with, cannot be forged. So it's a lot easier to hold up that person, in fact, did sign that particular document in the court of law as opposed to an electronic signature. All right, so that's kind of the quick rundown of the two different types of signatures. So the next question you probably will ask yourself is, when should you use each of them? Well, electronic signatures, if you need to sign an online document, of course, electronic signatures is really one of your best friends. Definitely very easy to use, easy to implement, and in a lot of cases, electronic signatures will be sufficient for your application, for your solution. But sometimes you need to go a little bit further, and you need to, make sure that whoever is signing the document is in fact that person that signed the document, that they cannot refute the fact that they did sign that document. So you do need that extra security, and that's when digital signatures definitely comes in handy. And as I just mentioned, if you do need to make sure that you could uphold the fact that they did sign that document in a court of law, you do need to use digital signatures because those are legally binding. So how exactly does this work in SharePoint and in InfoPath as well? So basically, setting up electronic signatures is fairly straightforward. You do need a signature and some sort of PIN or a password. The signature, like I said, can be many different types. In the demo I'll show you in a few minutes here, I'll be using a picture. It's just a kind of a picture I made up with my kind of fake signature. The idea behind this is very simple and reusable because we want to go and put this into what we call a template part. So that way, if you do have multiple forms out there and you do have the requirement to assign your form for all of these documents or for all of these different templates, then you can actually take this template part, this XTP, and add it to all these forms that you have. And it's great because then now you have one repository for all your signatures, one repository for all your pins, and you can reuse all of these signatures and pins across multiple documents by using this template part. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we also have an electronic signature XTP, so you can feel free to go on our website and check that out, and that's exactly what I'll be demoing for you in just a couple slides. So what is our electronic signature XTP? So basically, we created this very easy to deploy XTP that manages signatures and manages your pins or passwords in SharePoint. It's fairly easy to go and look up the user pins to verify whether or not the username matches the pin, and if it is, then it's going to go and use the electronic signature. In this case, it's an image to sign your document. So it's pretty straightforward. This is our kind of implementation of it. Of course, you can go ahead and implement your own as well, but I think this is a really, really easy to use, easy to set up template part in order to basically include all these signatures into any document that you might want to include in it. And finally, we do have an admin form as well that if you are familiar with our electronic signature XTP from the past, we did add this new feature where you can go and manage your signature library very easily through this admin form. And I'll be showing you that in just a little bit. All right, so enough of me talking with slides. Let's go and head into the demo. Really quickly for the demo, I'll be using the electronic signature XTP. We'll be using the signing feature. I'll show you how to actually sign a form. I'll also show you how to add a new user and password using this admin form as well. Actually, we'll probably do the second one first, and then I'll show you how the electronic signature works right after that. Okay, so let's see. Let's go into the Internet Explorer here. Okay. So, first thing I want to do is I want to talk about what I have set up here in my SharePoint site. I do have several document libraries. I do have one list as well to show you. I have the signature admin document library. This is basically where I'm going to be creating my signatures. I do have one signature that exists here right now. I have my electronic signature picture library. These are all the pictures, the signatures that I want to have. I only have one here again. And finally, I do have a pin list. And you can see here the pin list is fairly simple. It's just a custom list. My title is simply my username. I can see the pin here. It is in plain text right now, but don't worry. I will explain how to make it a little bit more secure. But if you're not too concerned about security, you can absolutely just leave it here as plain text. You can definitely tweak the permissions of the library so that only certain people in your organization can see it. All right, so let's show you how it works really quick. So here's the admin form. Let's go and create a new signature in my library. Well, the other thing I wanted to call out as well is that this is actually in Office 365. I know we've been getting a lot of questions recently about, hey, does this feature work in Office 365? So to show you, I'm actually doing this in Office 365 right now, so you can see that it does work in Office 365. And you can see, because of this funky username here, if you are familiar with the username, that it is in fact in Office 365. So that is my username. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and enter my PIN, my super secret PIN of 1234. 1234. And what we did here is, well, you didn't see me typing, simply because we don't want other people to see your PIN. Maybe they're looking over your shoulder. This is super low tech. I mean, all of this is really white text in the text box. What we could do as well is have a special font that has like a password font where all the font symbols are the same symbol, like a black circle or an asterisk or something like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and insert my signature. I have my signature PNG here, so let's go ahead and attach that. And that's pretty much it. Done creating the signature. Let's go ahead and submit. Great, looks like it worked. It disables the controls here so that I know that I've submitted it. I also get a message here, and looks great. Looks like I created it. So let's go ahead and close the form. So you can see here it inserted a new entry into my signature admin. If I go into the picture library, you'll see a second, I use the same image, but it was this one, the one on my right, that I just added as my image. So it knows to submit the image to the document library, to the picture library. It gives it a GUID as well. So this is a GUID that we generate every time you create a new signature. So this is a unique GUID, so you'll know that it'll tie your signature back to this particular image. And then finally, my pin list, here's my username, and then you can see my pin here, and also the associated GUID. So that's how you create a signature in this system. If I wanted to edit it, that's pretty easy. I can go ahead and I can open up the same form in the library. This is the same admin form. It's actually showing me just a different view. What it's doing here is now it's showing me my username. I can go and type in my current PIN, so my super secret PIN again of 1234. And let's go and change it to maybe 555. 555. So actually, let's go ahead and edit the current PIN. So show you some error messages. If my current PIN is incorrect, I have it as 12345 right now. It'll show me an error message, so it verified that the current PIN is not correct. If the two pins here are not matching, it'll also give me a separate error message. That says the pins don't match all expected behavior, right? All right, so go ahead and change the pin. So it looks like everything was okay. The current pin matched. The two new pins matched. So the password was successfully changed. So we'll go ahead and close the form. Go open up my pin list just to verify, and you'll see that for my new entry here, my pin did change from 1234 to 555. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of the kind of the admin form and how that works. I do know that some people are concerned about security here. They don't like the fact that the PIN is kind of displayed in plain text, and we have a solution for that as well. If I'm going to open up SharePoint Designer here. In SharePoint Designer, you can go and add some workflow to some of these lists, some of the libraries as well. And I'll show you what I did for the pin list here. So say if I go into my list of libraries, I'm going to go to open up my pin list. And you'll see that I have one workflow created. Let's go ahead and open that up. So I have this workflow to set to start automatically when the item is created. So when a new entry in the pin list is created, this workflow is going to kick off, and it's going to get created when I submit a new signature. So that's great. And I'll show you what the workflow looks like. So there's only two steps here. The first step is pretty straightforward. The first action is pretty straightforward. I do have it in an impersonation step because I am modifying permissions. So that is very important. The first step here, all I'm doing is I'm removing all the permissions for all the authenticated users on my server, basically I'm removing all those permissions for the current item, that it's on. So the particular pin entry, that list item that was just created, I'm just removing all the permissions for absolutely everybody. And second, what I'm doing is I'm giving, My mouse just jumped there. The second thing that I'm doing is I am actually giving full control permission now to the person who created this form. And I'm giving it obviously to the current item as well. So the idea here is that when someone creates a form or someone creates an entry in that pin list, what they're going to do is they're going to go and actually remove the permissions from everybody else, add the permissions for themselves, and then that way when they go and view the pin list, that they can only see the entries that they have access to, which is their own. So, say I go in and then maybe Marcy will go in and add her pin, but then if I want to go and change my pin, I can only see mine. Marcy would only be able to see hers, and that way we won't be able to see each other's pins, be able to change each other's pins as well. So that's pretty much how you do that in SharePoint Designer, and that's pretty easy. It's pretty simple workflow, nothing too complicated. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you now is simply how to use the signature XTP. Once you actually have all the library up and running, you have all your users in there, you have all your pins, you have all your signatures. So this is what the XTP sort of looks like. It's pretty simple. It's just a username, pin, and a checkbox to say sign this document. This is a very simple form. I could have certainly added this to a little bit more of a complex form. If I had an existing form out there already and I wanted to go and add this, I could just add it at the very bottom of the form perhaps. I can add it to a new view. Any of that will work. So go ahead and add my pin. I think it was 555. And then let's go ahead and sign the document. It's great. Looks like the pin worked, and the username, password fields went away. It goes and does a lookup based on the GUID for that particular entry into the library, into the picture library, and it goes and retrieves that. It even does a timestamp here on the bottom. I know it's tiny. Hopefully you can see that, but it does a quick timestamp to tell me, okay, this is when I signed it, and this is what time I signed it as well. So that's pretty much it. That's my demo. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put some questions in the chat window. More than happy to entertain them. I do have a couple of quick wrap-up things before I go ahead and actually do questions. Just wanted to do a quick shout-out to one of our partners here, ARX. They have they do this thing called Cosign, which is basically digital signatures. I know this webinar talked a lot about electronic signatures, and while they're not secure, there might be a scenario that you have that you wanted to have a more of a secure feel for, and so you do want to do digital signatures. I did talk about the benefits and the differences about digital signatures and electronic signatures at the beginning of the webinar. So definitely feel free to go and check out them. Their website is arx.com. You can also check them out on our website, on our partners page at Qdabra.com. And I'll also be sending out this slide deck at the end of the webinar so that you have the slide deck in case you do want to come back and refer to it. And I did mention before that we do have this on our website. You can go and purchase it in our store. So go to Qdabra.com. Here's the link to the electronic signature webpage. If you are interested in it, definitely go out and check that out. All right, so I think that's it. I think Marcy also has another quick announcement about training before I go ahead and actually answer any questions. Marcy, are you still there?
I'm here, and let me just share out that training slide again. Those of you who have been coming to our webinars know my little spiel already, but we do have a couple of InfoPath training classes coming up next month, which is not too far away now. We've got a 5-day online webinar, September 24th through the 28th. And if you prefer the in-person experience, we're doing a class September 18th through 20th in Kirkland, Washington. And we do have a little bit of a special for those of you attending. So if you would like the discount code, just give me a shout out via email to coursemanager@qdabra.com. And also, Anson's going to be kicking off a new InfoPath 101 class. We do have a preview coming up in September if you're interested in that. Again, send us an email, and then also we can let you know of future dates that are going to be coming soon. I think that's it. Thanks, Anson.
Yeah, and actually, just to add on to Marcy's 101 comment, next week's webinar topic will be actually a kind of a short topic, kind of a reduced down topic of what we'll be covering in the 101 course. We'll be talking about secondary data connections and filters, kind of going back to, there's a while back I did a webinar talking about an InfoPath 101 topic. So this is kind of continuing that line in that series, talking about some of these, kind of getting back to the roots. I know we've been talking about some of these more advanced features as well as, you know, some of these other kind of side topics with InfoPath, but sometimes it's nice to kind of go back to the roots and talk about the InfoPath application itself. So, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully that will be something that will be interesting for you folks to come back next week. Okay, so all right, please go ahead and put any questions that you might have in the chat window. I see we already have one question. I will stick around for a few minutes to answer any questions. But if you do need to go, thank you all for attending. Really appreciate you coming out to these webinars. If you do have any feedback, definitely send it to coursemanager@qdabra.com. You can also feel free to contact me directly. My email is in the slide deck that will be sent out. So again, thanks everybody for attending, and let's go ahead and answer some questions. All right, what do you use for the original creation of the electronic signature image? Well, my image was, if you're asking specifically about my image, I just literally opened up Paint, picked a font that kind of looked a little bit fancy, and then put my name in. So that's really all it is. A lot of times people will actually sign a document or sign a piece of paper, scan it in. You could definitely do that. There's many different ways that you can create your electronic signature image. I mean, it's really up to you what you want it to be. It could be a picture of a panda if you really wanted to. But it depends on really how secure, how professional the signature needs to look. So, you know, definitely the best thing is probably actually hand signing it on a tablet and then, or hand signing on a piece of paper and then scanning it in, and then doing it that way. Experience with signature pads. I don't personally. I'm trying to think if anyone else does. Sorry, I don't have any. I don't have any personal experience, and I'm not familiar if anyone else at the company has. I can ask around if you are curious and see if anyone has, and if so, if they have any recommendations on. I'm assuming devices. But yeah, sorry, Justin, I don't have any personally to recommend. Yes, this does work with browser-based forms. The demo actually that I showed you today, James, was in the browser. It was on Office 365. It definitely does work on premises as well, so you can do it in both Office 365 and on premises depending on which environment you are running SharePoint on. So. Or actually, maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. So maybe you're asking specifically about like signature pads, kind of signing on the fly. The InfoPath does have a control called the ink picture control, and basically it's a control where you can go ahead and sign, or you can just draw in that particular control. That ink picture control is only supported on the client. So if you do wanted to change the electronic signature a little bit, and instead of inserting a picture, you wanted to let them sign the form on the fly and then save that as an image, that will be a little bit different. I don't believe that that particular scenario is available on the browser, simply because that control is not available on the browser. There could be some third-party controls, some ActiveX controls out there that people have written where it allows you to input ink onto the browser. So definitely check that out. I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not familiar with any. So that's definitely something to check out if there are any to enable your scenario in the browser if you wanted to.